in or out of the district. So we just want to make sure our bases are covered.
Okay, do we have any questions? Guys, did you want to say something?
Is this list different from the one you have?
It adds 4 red box locations and 1 other business. So
Or what does that do to the numbers?
it increases it slightly. Increases the disbursement. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just check. That increases the amount of revenue we should anticipate, assuming that nothing's changed from 2014, but it nets out a little bit higher than we would have before we included those in the list. We didn't have a choice. That's what we want to remove the riskier ones, and we have to take out the
Yeah, so you're saying the state pointed out that the red box was on.
red box.
particular
Well,
parcel.
I wanted to see if we could try to take Walgreens as Walgreens and the primary and parcel, red box being something that's based, not really at that address, but based out of state. And they didn't buy the argument, said that we had to include it. That's shocking.
The Rave Motel and the East Ridge 8, is that same, I mean, the Rave Theater in East Ridge 18?
Yes.
That's the same theater?
Yes, they're reported in 2012 as the Rave, and they're reported in 13 and 14. In 13, they're reported mid-year. They changed mid-year that year. Fiscal year 13, they're reported as both. In fiscal year 14, they're reported as East Ridge 18. So to remove that, we had to remove both of those legal entities from their reporting list.
That was the changeover from Rave to Carmine.
Yeah. It's one of the largest in terms of the state amount. That's one of the largest in the district. So it's a relatively risky to leave it in.
Keys Park's no longer there, so.
Because we, again, Mammontov recommended that might cause problems, that if we want to include the new grocery store down the street, we wouldn't want to remove those, given the way that the state is trying to define property. So it doesn't impact us to leave it in there, but pennies on the dollar when it comes to the program, but we know that the new grocery store will have a great net positive impact.
Well, the reason why I asked that was I hadn't seen it on the partial number list, but if it was listed as a partial, then it wouldn't be the, partial would be the same as the,
Part of it.
if they were going by the partial number
Yeah.
instead of the address.
We don't want to take any chances. So
Okay.
that's
Let
the
me
reason.
ask a question. The Ryan's Family Steakhouse, which is no longer, nothing there. Is there, what I want to say, is something else for it?
There was.
Fortunately, yes.
Well, I'm sorry, that reminds me, there was a buffet, Asian buffet of some kind came in briefly. Is that listed in here?
No, that was last year, so they're back in 2013, 14.
Yeah, they're
It's
back
not
in
bad.
bed. They did have
What's
the
that?
Mexican restaurant that started to sign a lease. Apparently, they filed paperwork, I heard today.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that it's kind of the same, it's kind of the same situation as the Rave going to Carmine. Did we catch both entities? Did we catch the Ryans and the,
We'll catch anything
Whatever
that
the-
comes in the future.
what,
If we remove it, we
I
don't
assume
need
that's
to benefit
why they're
them.
listed on a partial, but whatever's on that partial
Exactly,
is exempt.
that's correct.
okay. I'm just saying, on one hand, we're doing it one way, and on the other hand, we're doing it a different way.
Street wise, that's still that partial.
Just a comment, Jackie makes actually an interesting point. You might want to consider adopting a list that just has parcel ID. That way you have that at the state and not the business name. I don't know if that's important or not, but
Mammontov recommended the two, but I will do whatever the council recommends.
We have a list of both, one with addresses only and the other with parcel numbers.
Yeah, but you
Now,
could
granted,
have,
the names are attached.
you could have a scenario where Department of Revenue, if you adopt this list and you have, for example, Dollar General or a business on there that's listed, that there's another business in the district with that name, it could be construed that that business would be taken.
Could we simply,
Combine the two.
create a third that would just have parcel numbers? And so we could do the
Partial,
address.
With GIS and changing parcel. Okay, if we get into that and they assign a different parcel, it's not on that list, then we're not going to get credit for it. That's another good reason of doing this both parcel and business name at this time.
Right, I'm saying, why don't we do a third list? We do it with names and addresses on this one, names and parcel numbers on this one, and then one with just parcel numbers. I mean, you kind of catch every possibility that way.
And when Mammoth Talk, you've got 60 days to file it. Mammoth Talk gets back, you can discuss how it should be done.
Yeah,
Well, I was bringing up that, like,
That's fine.
cover every
I
base
guess what I
possible.
don't understand is like Ryan's, it's awful, it's taken off the list. If something big goes in there, if it's bigger than what Ryan's was, we just kind of leave that on that, right?
For the purpose of the border region state sales tax. And that's the risk we take by,
And that's such a large parcel of land.
You also, you did have, if we would still get our local sales tax off of it if it was something big that went in there, but you've also got to kind of look at the limitations of that parcel as well. And we just looked at how close it was to the church, and that, you know, that there's no way for anyone to go in there who sells alcohol, so that you're putting a lot of limits on that parcel now, so.
Councilman, there was a couple $100,000 worth of properties I could have included in this list, but again, that was my concern, was that they're closer to the interstate, the parcels are large enough to where, you know, the idea of the law is that we want redevelopment in each ridge. So I tried to be as conservative as I could and prudent as I could in only picking entities that were above a certain amount, $50,000 or more threshold, and only entities that seem to be risky for one reason or another, one of several reasons. So we tried to be as prudent as we could. But it's all a risk, because you guess we could have something that goes in and earns more at Ryan's Steakhouse. So we're betting that won't happen, because it'll come in and earn, but earn close or not quite as high. That's what we hope. For the purpose of local sales tax, obviously we hope it earns even more. So
Somebody went in and say bought Ryan's property, they bought that property next to it, as long as that cash register's in that other property.
that is my understanding of the law, and Mark Amedoff and I plan to fight that with the Department of Revenue until the very end. So we understand the statute to read that way, and there's a disagreement about that right now. But that's what we're going to stick to our guns on that. Unless we're directed to do otherwise by the city council.
All right, so I guess from a legal standpoint, what would be the best way to adopt this list? To do 3 separate motions to adopt the list and then come back to the executive? Okay, that will create a resolution. Okay. All right. And then the third one, we just part.
The form of the second could be substituted to suit the list from the third as higher. So we just need to renumber it. Use the same language as the rest.
No, so you're saying essentially this is resolution 2491, the next one, the second list is 92. We could just,
We named, the one that's 92 would be named at 9. We took that same language, named 93, and had an exhibit with only parcels that would work.
Is that number available?
The next, that's not.
okay, so we do have a motion and a second to adopt this, resolution 2491, which will be the first of the lists. Do we have any other comments, questions, anything at all? All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember Manning?
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. That leads us to Resolution 2492, which would be the second list.
A resolution excluding certain properties from the Warner Region Retail Tourism Development District in accordance with the Public Chapter Number 405 of the 2015 Act of the Tennessee General Assembly.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Gravitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember Manning?
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. And then, would like to insert a new item, Resolution 2493, which would have the same caption. The difference being the substance, the content of this list would be simply tax on parcel numbers.
A resolution excluding certain properties from the Border Region Retail Tourism Development District in accordance with Public Chapter Number 405 of the 2015 Acts of the Tennessee General Assembly.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Gravitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember Manning?
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. That, because of the sequence there, we'll make that resolution 2493 as item C, meaning everything else from there down gets a different letter of designation. So the baseball field project for Eastridge High School becomes item D. The next becomes E, then F, then G is the HVAC. All right, so the baseball field project for Eastridge High School has some information on that for us. Scott, do you have anything?
I have talked with Mike Vaughn with Southern Athletic Fields, and Mike and I are going to visit one day this week again to see exactly how much money it's going to cost just for the playing surface. They're going to have sod, and then they're also going to have, they're going to bring the dirt up, put more dirt in. The same type dirt that we use at our park is the same type dirt that comes out of the pit in Huntsville, Alabama, that the Braves use, Lookouts use, we use. That's what I would recommend. It's not that much difference in money. But right now, it's been so long since they put any good dirt in there. The infields are up here, and if you're actually playing an infield, standing in the dirt, you're down here, and this is not a good situation. Plus, every time it rains, it's going to fill up like a pond or a lake or something like that. So, I think that they're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 just in dirt and stuff of that nature.
So is the church still want to match this? Because they said 2,500.
I haven't heard anything different, that's what I thought.
The church said 2,500 and we matched.
They had asked for $2,500 per acre, but I don't think that will fix it. But regardless whether that's just an opinion.
Can you go back and take a ball?
Yeah, that's what we can do.
Ask them again. You know what, I don't have a problem helping with, one problem they've been having is they don't take care of it. So, I mean, if we're gonna spend this kind of money, you know, it's been grown up twice. It was higher than Hayfield out there a couple of times. Are the school system going to keep it up and take care of it, or are we need to do that, use it ourselves, you know, for tournaments?
Councilman Sewell, at this point in time, we do not have the manpower. We do have the manpower to send Andrew Jacks over to take care of the football field, do pre-emergence, to do the fertilizing and spray the clovers and things like that, because we do use that field for our home field during football season. But we do not have the manpower right now to go over there and be working on the baseball field and mowing it and taking care of it like it needs to be done. I do believe that the baseball coach that's over there, who's also an assistant in football, has his heart in the right place. And I think that he will work to try to keep it nice and try to do what needs to be done. My suggestion would be that they had a work day and publicize a work day to the folks in East Ridge, as well as maybe publicize it to the old folks that, I don't use the word old folks, the people that play baseball there. Maybe even have an alumni game or something and build from that and try to see if they can get some donations and make some noise as far as that goes.
I still had equipment to cut the field, they have equipment to cut the field.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. They do not have that.
Mr. Martin, can you check back with the county? I noticed tonight, I guess a lot of y'all saying it on TV this week. They're going to give each one of their council members down there $500,000 just to spend it any way they want to. That's how much the county's.
Excluding the schools.
Yeah, excluding the schools.
But the catch to it, that's those schools, they need to take some of that $500,000 and help fix this ball field. Now, I believe in helping our schools, but I believe the county needs to put in a little money with it. Can you go to the county and one of their boards stand up and talk to them?
Well,
If you don't want to go by yourself, I'll go with you. They'll probably put us both in jail, but I'll go with you.
City Manager Hyatt, which has been around baseball and played baseball himself, and one of my suggestions would be in this, if they do decide to do this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hyatt, I don't think I would do it right now and then go through the winter months. See, they're talking about getting the dirt now. They put that dirt in there now, and they don't drag it every day, and they don't work that dirt every day, and they don't work that field every day. By the time it gets time to play ball next April or May, they're going to have as big a mess. Am I right, Mr. Hyatt?
You're correct.
And I just, right now, I don't think the time is right to purchase dirt and do that right now. But it's just opinion.
But did you, let me ask you one more question that you can talk to them about. Because I know their football field stands down there on the street side. That's to fall down. Concrete's all breaking out of it and everything. Somebody gonna get hurt terrible down there. And can you not go back to them? That's about part of the $500,000 given one of each one of their council when they're building a new stadium in.
They've also got black mold in their locker rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, the locker rooms look terrible. I've been over and looked at it. It's a pitiful outfit. And if you ain't careful, you go up a step, it's turned into dirt and gravel, and you will.
That's correct.
If you ain't careful, somebody's gonna get hurt.
And I'm for helping them any way we can. And I think Mayor and all y'all know that. I don't want to back off on anything to help them out.
What did it cost you to put the grass on these fields down there at the park, Park Field?
About $2,500.
About $2,500. So can we put grass up there instead of putting $10,000 worth of dirt?
Can we sod their infield for about $2,500?
That-
Probably. I would think, I would get Mike to give an exact, and we can go pick up the sod at Mid-10 Turf and bring it down and sod, yes.
That'd be cheaper than dirt.
Yes, but I wouldn't do that until October.
No, but,
What bothers me is they don't have equipment to take care of it. You know, they don't have, you're gonna have to have a real mower to cut that sod.
Yes, sir.
They don't have that, they're not gonna spend $25,000 to buy one.
Well, maybe during,
If we're gonna put that kind of money in, we need to make a commitment to help them the other way, but you know. I mean, I just know that coach, he might, I mean, you know, he's a good guy, I know who you're talking about. You know, he might be here next year, maybe gone, who else? I mean, it's been the problem, they changed coaches. He's the only guy they got that works the field. I mean, that's usually just him. He doesn't have any help. We bailed him out a couple of times, you know, and that's the problem, one man can't do it.
Would the Attorney General's opinion have any bearing on the city of East Ridge, money, since they said that the commissioners cannot use any of that $100,000 toward the school system?
I think the county took away from them now.
Would that have any effect, or would that really have any effect on the city of East Ridge? Something to think about.
portion
Right.
couldn't be used for the school. Would that apply?
Would that apply to the city of East Ridge money?
I have to read the Attorney General.
Out there.
Conceivably could, on the same basis, I can go back and read this, but I haven't read the Attorney General.
If that is true, then I would feel like that, what is it, 2,500 the church says they'll go with? And if we went 2,500, I feel like we probably could get Commissioner Boyd to either match that 5,000 or match 2,500 of it. But he said the Attorney General, if that,
already
Ruled for Hamilton County.
oh, he's ruled they cannot do that then. Okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Let me say this. That is due to the fact that the Hamilton County is funding the school system, and they don't want their commissioners double funded out of this discretionary fund by the city out here not having a school system. We are not already funding them. I mean, the only way we'd be funding them would be giving them this 2,500 or whatever we decide to give them here.
I think it's worth the attorney's view.
I think it probably would be ideal to have Kyle look at it, and just see, make sure there's nothing, no little
That,
catch
you
in
know,
there.
that's the
that-
way I understood it, how them, double funding.
I agree.
And if they want sod, we'll put the sod on there, that's no problem.
Okay.
But would you not fill it in first?
All right, well, yeah, I think obviously we're all interested in helping our schools. If we can, we certainly will, would like to. We'll just see what we can do. I do think, if they don't have a mower, the equipment to take care of it, then really what?
I've got a real mower, I've donated to that group.
Yeah.
Somebody push it. You're not gonna push it.
No.
Are you going with it?
No. All right, well, we pretty well exhausted that issue for the moment. Cal, is that-
If Stump says we don't need to do anything till next year on this, I think we ought to get everything tabled, closer to time to bring it back up. Stump, you will ever bring it up.
And I'll get every one of them, as soon as I meet with Mike and get him over and look at the field, I'll get exactly the dollars and cents.
Maybe, this is kind of, forgive the pun, but an idea from left field. But maybe we advertise the fact that, hey, the East Ridge High School needs a mower to mow the baseball field. And maybe somebody comes through with a donation or has one that maybe they don't need, and they donate it. Who knows? That just seems an absolute shame to me that but they can't take care of it.
I know county.
Right?
Someone probably ought to contact David Testerman, their county school board.
Summary of the opinion in case, the Attorney General's opinion basically states that county funds cannot be spent over and above the educational tax levy. Taylor said any above that can't be authorized, so it may have been limited to the specific facts, it looks like, where you have an educational tax levy by the county, and the county spending additional funds. Kind of like what you said. It doesn't appear to be limited to our participation in something like that.
Well, if we want to table it for any number of reasons, we can entertain a motion to that effect.
I make a motion to table it to Mr. Martin back there to find out something for us.
Second.
A motion and a second to table. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. All right, item E, discuss and or take action on city manager vacation slash terminal pay. I asked for this to be placed on here. We did, we do have a little bit of an issue on this. We have, I guess it'd probably be best just to turn it over to Hal and let him explain it. I'm sure he can explain the legalities of it better than I can. And then I think Trish has some information that would be helpful as well for the discussion, but I'm going to turn it over to Hal.
Yeah, the issue, as I understand, is whether the city manager, the retiring city manager, can receive compensation for his unpaid vacation and sick leave. Andrew's contract provides that he's to receive 2 weeks of paid vacation during the term of his one-year contract, and shall receive 5 paid sick days during the term of this agreement. Now, back in 2012, specifically June 14, 2012, an ordinance was passed on second reading that provided that all employees of the city hired on or after July 1st, 2012, such employees shall not have the right to sell any accumulated leave to the city of Reese Ridge under the provisions of ordinance number 760, section 4-219. That would appear to me to preclude that, but I understand more importantly from talking to Ms. Perry that it has been the practice of the city, and Trish, I'd ask you to come forward and address the council, but it has been the practice of the city since then, since June 14, 2012, to pay employees their accumulated leave, even though they were hired prior to that time, or excuse me, hired after that time. If that's the case, the city runs into potential liability that we're treating different employees differently. So there's a problem. It appears to me, because there is somewhat of an ambiguity about when it talks about leave buyback, what it's specifically referring to. Is it talking about paid vacation? Is it talking about sick days? Also, there's a consideration, for example, for Andrew and any other employee. The employee says, I'm going to terminate, as Andrew, I'm going to terminate my employment at a specific time. But he says, I've got 2 weeks of vacation coming. Does he simply then not show up after that and get paid? Because the effect of that is the same. The question is, and what needs to be subsequently firmed up is, do we have a situation, or do we want a situation where it's effectively use it or lose it? So again, my major concern in rendering any legal opinion on this is we haven't acted consistently since June 14, 2012.
Whose fault was that? Who paid people in what's going on?
I think there were a few of us that were here in 2012 when this was passed. This is my take on it. I voted against it both times. First read against, second read, this specific ordinance. But even so, my understanding was that this pertained only to the actual leave buyback program. That we would no longer, after June 14th, 2012, we would no longer offer that as a benefit to new employees. So, in my mind, the terminal pay, or if someone retires and they have 3 weeks of vacation saved up, I don't think it was ever intended or envisioned that we would deny that person their 3 weeks of vacation because of this ordinance. Now, that's my take on it. I would like to pay, I don't know how much time he has accumulated. I would like to pay him for whatever time he has accumulated. That has been the practice, and we've had at least 3, I believe, employees who have come and gone since 2012. They've gotten that pay. Technically, it's not part of the leave buyback. It is simply accumulated vacation pay. I think, and that's why I asked to have it put on here. There is some legal question as to what we can do, whether we can do it. I just want to voice my opinion. I think we should pay for whatever vacation time he's accumulated.
May I ask a question? Now,
Yes,
you
sir.
keep saying he's got accumulated vacation, correct?
For what, I don't know how much that is,
I'm
but
just
yes,
asking.
accumulated
Okay,
vacation.
You're saying accumulated vacation.
Exactly.
But it plainly states right here that such employees shall not have the right to sell any accumulated leave. Now, you're calling it accumulated, not me, and that's what this ordinance is called.
But again,
So
as our attorney says, there is ambiguity in that. I don't think it was ever intended to deny someone pay when they retire or resign or get fired. It was purely aimed at leave buyback. I just,
Is there some people that have left that has not received that?
No. And it's our understanding that there's a leave buyback program, and that's what you do while you're employed. When you leave your employment, you get terminal pay, which is not defined in there or anywhere else. That was the understanding that I've always had everywhere I work. I just, shame on me, assumed that was what was happening, in the city of East Ridge, which we should never assume in East Ridge.
No, we got a list right here, brother.
That refers specifically to the leave buyback program.
Excuse me,
No.
Trish, could you come up, like Attorney North did, and could you just make reference to how it's been handled with those other few employees?
The way it's been, what it says, sell back is part of the buyback program, which if you're employed July 1st, 2012, and then you leave maybe 2 years from that, let's say you have 400 hours on the books. You wouldn't have that many, but let's just say that for sake of argument. You are not being eligible. If not, you leave. Let's just say you come up to that point. Okay, Trey Murphy told you have 400 hours. Anybody else before 2012, we would have paid 80 hours. Okay, bring it back down to 320. These people do not get that privilege. But when they have left, if they've had just a certain amount of hours on the books that have accumulated, they've been paid those.
I have a question then. Say Mr. Hyde stays here 5 years. He accumulates his 2 weeks vacations for 5 years. Then he all of a sudden decides to leave. So we're going to pay him for 10 weeks vacation?
Well, that's a contract employee, so that would have.
No, ma'am. Anybody hired after 2012, July 1, I'm stating, if they decide to stay here 5 years and they leave, we owe them 10 weeks vacation?
There's not a cap on there.
I agree with that, so it's still considered buyback then.
Clearly, what Andrew could have done, had he so chosen, was 2 weeks before June 30th, his last day of his contract, he could have said, I'm out of here, boys, I'm on vacation, I'll come by and pick up my check.
That's
He didn't
right.
do that.
That's
So
right.
now we're at the end of his term, we're at the end of his one-year term, June 30th, and he still has, and I assume, is it still 2 weeks? Have you used any vacation?
It's 4 weeks, but if we want to go there, we sat in a meeting right out here the other night, and I was going to resign out here, and I was going to resign July 24th, which would have given me the 4 weeks to run. Councilman Cagle wanted me to leave that night, June 16th. It was agreed that I would resign to fulfill my contractual obligation. I was told to do that. I have letters ready to submit for July 24th, which would have covered that. So until we met in there and discussed that, to me, in an illegal meeting,
You're right.
then we came out here and I went that direction, but the letter that I submitted still has July 24th.
The letter you submitted, is not the one you verbally said out here?
That is correct. Because that's the one I wrote.
See your letter.
That's the one I wrote.
Okay.
But that's the intent that I had, council, to go forward with that.
Well, again, the legal consideration, my concern is we've been dealing differently with other employees. We need to have a consistent practice.
Well,
Certainly from here on out, we need to firm this up.
We need to change this, make it more,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I like, you to look into doing that for sure the next meeting or whatever. We get this, you know, we've got too many ordinances and things that comes up as wishy-washy, you know? Says one thing, it needs to be precise what's supposed to be.
Okay, second part, so I make a motion to pay the man 4 weeks.
I'll second.
And we have a motion in a second to pay the, whatever the accumulated time is. Okay. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Let me say this for the sake of further discussion, so there's absolutely no misunderstanding. I need some guidance from the council in the future about how this is supposed to be construed. If it is a use it or lose it situation, that's one thing. It needs to say that. It doesn't say that. I need that from y'all. And if that's the case, if you really meant back in 2012 that you cannot sell any accumulated leave, and that means nobody, so, well, Ms. Perry needs to understand that right now.
May I make a motion then that we rescind this right here, we'll waive this, and go back to May the 24th, 2012, and everybody's hired after that, start giving them the accumulated leave, and then we don't have this buyback. Put them all back in the buyback leave. What cap is what our buyback program is?
At a minimum, you don't have a max.
320,
That's the minimum.
that's what we buy back to, 320.
As she stated, somebody can go up to potentially,
There's no
House-
cap.
House-
Every year we buy
House
back to
suggests-
320.
if they don't sell it.
House
If
suggests,
they have to sell it.
House suggests we cannot, or should not take action on that tonight without it being.
We need to decide tonight how this applies to Andrew Pike and Andrew Pike. Then in the future, next meeting or whatever, how y'all want to do it, and amend the ordinance.
And I think moving forward, maybe in my opinion, those resigning, retiring, or who were terminated or laid off need to get whatever accumulated time. And again, in my mind, it is a very separate thing from the leave buyback program.
What is,
We just did.
what is accumulated time? Is that, I mean, that's vacation, sick leave?
It's just called leave, that's all we have. Mine was defined different.
Mayor, can our attorney draw up something, have this?
Well, he can. I think we need to provide him with the direction
What I'm asking,
to do
we
that.
all want to do it. Yeah, I can draw too.
But I think let's have this added to the next agenda. And that gives us 2 weeks to think about it and figure out exactly what's happening. Oh, 1 week, that's right, yeah. Because of the schedule, in fact, we moved the June meetings, it's actually next week, 9 days.
Mayor, would I say one thing
Yes,
for Mr. Hyde? I appreciate all the hard work you have done for us. You have done quite a bit for us, you know. I'm saying that, I appreciate it.
I agree. Sir. Just discussion of city manager position, I asked for this to be placed on the agenda as well, just so we have some idea of where we're going. I know, let me say this, I know I've had a number of suggestions about different ways we could go. I know if we begin a search immediately for a full-time city manager, I know of at least one person on staff currently who would like to apply for it. They've told me that. I guess my question to the council is, what do we want to do that? Do we want to pursue, get out there immediately and let's start trying to hire a full-time city manager? Do we want to, another suggestion, and I thought there was some merit to this as well, There's a program that's associated with the ICMA that essentially brings in retired city managers who come in for a limited period of time. And they are people who generally are not dependent on the job. So, there are some benefits to that. There's probably, please don't take this wrong at all. But there's very little chance for playing favorites or anything like that with somebody who's completely detached from the city. It comes in and it's not dependent upon the job to put food on the table for the family and all the rest. They're retired. They're again.
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion to put Brother Mike here, fire chief, in as a fill-in city manager till we get someone.
Well, he's there. That doesn't, and that is.
I think we're way far till we can get.
Absolutely, that's a third option, to wait. We don't mind. He'll do a fine job. And again, please don't anyone, not Andrew, not Mike, not anyone construe my earlier comments as, oh yeah, I think you're gonna play favorites. That's not it at all. But that is a very viable option, is to just hold off on doing anything and just kind of cruise through the next time period, whatever that is, a month, 2 months, 3 months.
I make a motion, cruise through, as you call it. Still, 3 or 4 months or whatever.
Till he starts calling them.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second for that? And there's a second. Do you have any questions or comments? The motion was to essentially not take any action on hiring a city manager at this point. We have Mike as the interim. And so that's a motion in the second at this point. Any other comments or questions, Council? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Manning.
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. And the last item we have tonight, folks, is the emergency purchase of the HVAC units for the fire and police station.
Make a motion to approve.
We'll take one as a motion and the other as a second.
Thank you.
Does not exceed 16,000.
Thank you.
You don't want to keep the air over there.
Yes, sir, we do. Badly.
All right, we have a motion and a
Women
second.
get mad when
Roll call,
we're
please.
We do not.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Mayor Manning.
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Can I make a comment? Why is our police chief?
We do have the agenda session. If anybody just finds this so riveting, you want to hang around.
Why is our police chief
So we're going to adjourn this meeting and zip through our agenda session. There's only 4 items. So it's actually